Maelstrom by Pyraven is a very interesting level with a lot of very great memory-focused gameplay and a ton of cool effects and movements that fit really well with the song. It uses the impact the song has and tons of shake triggers and different effects to make the level really feel energetic, and it works really well to make this very exciting experience and very difficult level just based off of the visuals. The level keeps its color scheme the entire way through with blue and purple with hints of green. The color scheme works really well with the song, and I think the contrasting colors actually fits the level really well. The level also has 2 modes, although I don't have footage of the other one, but both are amazing and epic in their own ways. Swarm by ep8 is one of my favorite levels as of right now. The way the pulses and shake triggers are laid out is just amazing, and I love the way that the levels transition work and flow into each other. Especially like the reoccurring theme of windmills throughout the level, and the colors are very bright and flashy, yet still work really well. The build up to the drop is very dramatic and uses tons of creative effects to work into the part, but the drop is even better, as it has so many effects going on that it's difficult to see. The orbs are giant, however, which makes the gameplay a lot easier than it looks, and it just feels super flowy to play and really fun. It is quite stressful because of how fast it is, but it is still very enjoyable and pretty balanced difficulty for the rest of the level. The drop then leads into an amazing ship part with tons of weird pad gimmicks that actually work really well and are surprisingly consistent. The foreground elements in this part and all of the arrows that pop up whenever you hit a pad is really cool and definitely displays the force in the level. The ship part is, however, followed by a transition part that is so good that it stands up to some of the best parts in the level, with a drop into the end screen, which is a great way to finish off this amazing level.
Bruh.
Epic by vonsse is a very simple level that uses tons of default objects, but it uses it in really simplistic yet very creative manners that makes the level very entertaining to play. The level is quite fun to play too, and although the gameplay can be slightly weird and hard to sight read at times, it is pretty fun in general, and overall the level is quite flowy, which makes it not really much of a problem. This mid-gameplay is completely overshadowed by how great the effects and decorations are. Despite being so simple, they work really well with each other, especially the transition into the cube with the interesting colors that I quite like. The masking background here in the part shown is also really nice, and there are tons of other interesting backgrounds throughout the entire level. I also quite appreciate the introduction to the drop and the weird vibe it has. The block structures in the drop look plant-like, which is really interesting to me and something I don't see very often. And even though the part currently being shown has tons of weird pauses and stuff, it still remains somewhat sight-readable due to the song, and the fact that the pauses, if you jump, don't actually kill you. The triple cube part is also really cool, and overall the level is super fun to play, and I would recommend it. Alter Game 5 is a very old level, especially for the Alter Game series, but I still find it actually really fun. To this day, the decoration stands up pretty well, and although the gameplay has some issues for today's standards, the level is still quite playable and very fun. All of the movements work really well with the song, which was actually specially made for the level, which I find really cool, and a pretty early example of people doing this. It has this cool boss fight at the end that's actually quite difficult and really fun, and overall it fits the Alter Game series well. The level itself is split up into 3 levels, which all flow really nicely with each other and transition with this little screen in the middle that fits the song that was made for the level very well. The level is one of few Alter Game levels that plays like a normal Geometry Dash level but with other minigame mechanics, and I actually quite like that. I think it fits really well, and I wish Sirpunch did a couple more of these. The decoration in each level fits the theme really well, but is still super simple and uses objects efficiently, which I also quite like. Overall, the level is quite fun and still somehow stands up to this day, which is really cool. Multiverse by Darkson is a very colorful and unique level with really fun gameplay that progresses quite well. The beginning is not my favorite, and I think the color scheme works much better later in the level, especially near the halfway point where it uses the color orange quite well, and the part just before it with pink and yellow that work really well together. As another thing that's really good in this level is the structuring. I find it works really well with the color scheme and the gameplay itself, and the level is quite fun to play and somehow somewhat sight-readable despite being very fast-paced. Overall, the level has a great color scheme, great structuring, and is pretty fun to play overall.